let f of x equal 3 to the negative x minus 5, and g of x equals negative x to the third minus 4x squared plus x plus 6. The graphs of y equals f of x and y equals g of x are shown below. And we see them right over here. This y equals f of x is in that purplish color. Let me see if I can get that same purplish color. So that is in that. So let me underline it now. So f of x is in that purplish color. So y equals f of x. That's right over here in purple. And then y equals g of x. That is in blue. So y equals g of x. G of x is defined right over there. Y equals g of x. Well, that is graphed in blue. And we see that they intersect at the point a comma b. So there's a couple of ways to think about this. We could say that when x is equal to a, f of x and g of x equal each other. Or we could say f of a, and this is coming from this point of intersection. Let me draw a little arrow here. Or a big arrow. That point of intersection lets us know that f of a is equal to g of a, is equal to g of a, which is equal to b. G of a, which is equal to b. They both, if you input a into the function f, you're going to get b. If you input a into the function g, you're going to get b. And so the point a comma b is on both graphs, both y equals g of x and y equals f of x. And so from here you can make some interesting statements. For example, you could just say, well, what is f of a? F of a is 3 to the negative a power minus 5 is going to be equal to, what's g of a? G of a is negative a to the third minus 4a squared plus a plus 6. So you could say this, and that would be equal to that. Either of those would be equal to b. All right, I think we've analyzed that a good bit. So now let's actually answer their questions. And normally I'd suggest that you look at the questions before you actually try to solve it, but I just wanted to do this just to really squeeze out as much as we could out of the information they gave us. So they tell us the value x equals a is a solution to which of the following equations? Select all that apply. So this first one is 3 to the negative x minus 5 is equal to b. Well, we already know that 3 to the negative a minus 5, 3 to the negative a minus 5 is going to be equal to b. Is going to be equal to b. This over here, this is equivalent to saying f of x is equal to b. And we know f of x equals b when x equals a. When x equals a, f of x is equal to b. This expression is equal to b. So we know that that first one is true. Now the second one is just saying f of x is equal to g of x. Well, we know that when x is equal to a, f of x is equal to g of x. That f of a is equal to g of a. Because, as a reminder, this right over here is our definition for f of x. And this over here is our definition of g of x. So this is just saying f of x equals g of x. When does that happen? Well, that happens when x equals a. We already saw it up here. F of a is equal to g of a. They both equal b. And so both of these are going to be equal to each other when x is equal to a. So I will check that one as well.